Hello everybody, this is Mr. O, and we're going to be talking about light boxes and using the computer in the same way. There's an appropriate use for light boxes and a not so appropriate use for light boxes, and we're going to just talk a little bit about this. The goal is to improve your art and learn and advance where you don't need to look at something. Even an artist like myself, I have to sometimes look at things and draw them. What I do not do is take somebody else's artwork and trace it. And we'll talk a little bit about that. Is there a little bit of gray area when you look at somebody's picture and just draw it? Of course there is, but at least you're drawing it. A light box allows you to take somebody's art and you can go right over it and you just kind of go with the pencil line. Now, this is a generic comic book character form where I can design characters. So I'm working on this and trying to get it the way I want it. So I'm just going to use this for my example today. And so let me just turn off the light here and talk about the light box a little bit. As you will see, the light box shoots light out like a table, and the one I have has a little texture on it so things don't slide too easily. Usually has 3 or more settings. The ones on Amazon, I'm going to tell you right now, are great and they're inexpensive. If you have a Chromebook, they will work with that. Usually there's 3 settings, low, medium, high. As you can see on mine, I had 6 different settings. Mine didn't, mine's a little more expensive, but it didn't cost me $200 like if you went to Hobby Lobby or Michael's. Those are extremely expensive for what you really need to do. You can get good ones from anywhere from $15 to $75 on Amazon. This one was on sale for $75. The reason I paid that much was for the size of it. For you, you may just want a smaller one that just handles 9 by 12 or 11 by 14 size art. And the way I use it is, since I created this, let's just say I was not happy with how the arm looks on it. And I wasn't pleased that I put it in the wrong position. So I would take it. First, what I did is I traced the body. As you can see, I can line that back up. And now I'm going to make an adjustment that looks natural. And I'm going to raise the arm up. And I'll just go. I hope you guys can see this clearly. I'll know when I play the video how well this is going to show up. I'm trying to give it the right amount of light. And I have learned that when you do use the light box, I have a tendency of going a little darker than even when I draw. And so keep that in mind. The other thing is, always do the outlines first, and that will give you lines to line up. Now I'm going to turn the light back on again. Turn this off. And I just want to show you that when you do make an adjustment, you're going to have to make an adjustment all the way through your picture. So by raising the arm, you're going to create different adjustments to the body. I'm going to have to change the chest, raise that up a little bit so it looks more natural. You might want a corner. So anytime you make an adjustment, but I use the light box to do that adjustment on a drawing that's for myself. What I have noticed at the amateur level and even professional level, and I'm just going to use Marvel Comics as the example, and I'm going to focus in on their Star Wars comics. They are literally taking other people's artworks or photos and just tracing. And that is an inappropriate use of what light boxes or the computers are supposed to be for. It is okay to be inspired by somebody else's art, but you shouldn't just take it, trace it, make a few adjustments and say that's good enough. One of the big things going on in comics is these, after McFarlane, after Ross, after Kirby, these homages. And I'm starting to wonder if they're not homages anymore. They're just copied art. Just because they can color on the computer super well, they're not actually creating the original art. And you got to find the fine line. Is it okay to look at something and draw and practice? Yes, that's how you learn. That's how we all start. I still have to look at references, and I'm not traveling the world, so I'm not taking pictures myself. So I Google that, but I also take several references and combine to create something a little new. So I'm not taking and copying one photo. I'm not doing somebody else's artwork. It's okay to be inspired. It's okay to recreate a cover. Just make sure you're not copying somebody else's artwork. Make sure you use the Lightbox in the appropriate way. Make those adjustments. Now, like for me, the way I use a Lightbox, I mean, this is probably not the greatest example, but I do have a very good example of when I could have used a Lightbox, but I chose not to. So this was my sketch of a character I drew, and it was the first time I drew him in this type of costume, and I thought it was great at the time that I did it, and I could have just taken a better sheet of paper, went over and used the Lightbox, but instead I redrew it. And I want you to see both copies side by side. There you go. And you can see that I made a lot of adjustments in the body, elongating some parts, showing a lot more, changing maybe the direction the eyes were going, being a little more dramatic with the movement. Something Stan Lee once said, the Marvel way, over dramatizing something. And that's what I did in this motion. If once I got to here and I realized, okay, my arm, my leg needs to be adjusted, that would be a good reason to use the Lightbox, because I spent all that time doing this and trying to just redraw it. I can do that, but I also want to save time. Time equals money. If you're interested in comics or manga or anime, time equals money, and it's okay to trace your own artwork. And if you look at animators, you will see they have Lightboxes, because that's basically what they do. That's how they get the movement. They're tracing and going over and over and over. Go ahead and do that. But if you're somebody right now laying your Chromebook or your tablet down and you're just tracing art, you're not really going to get better. You will, but it won't be as fast. If you're somebody who's looking at a picture and drawing, even if it doesn't look like that picture, believe it or not, you're learning some good things, and your technique will improve. You will learn to observe and draw. And that's no different than looking at a still life and drawing. Just you keep at it, and one day it will click, it will come together. Guys, I want to tell you, you're great, and you are important. Have a great day. And one of these videos, I'm going to start trying to do time lapse. I didn't think this was a good time lapse ability, and I think you guys will start enjoying if I actually just sit and draw a whole thing out in front of you. You guys have a great day. See you next video. Bye-bye.